Hello everybody and welcome back to artofdino.com and saveearth.us, and I have got a new building that I've discovered recently that I'm sure many of you have maybe come across, but I have never seen it, and I was blown away by this. It's called Victoria Terminus around 1905, and now it's known as the Chatrapati Shivaji Terminus in Bombay, Mumbai, India, and it is unbelievable. And they tell us all kinds of stories about it, how it was done in 1878, finished in 1887 to mark 50 years of Queen Victoria's rule, all this stuff. And it is in an area with a ton of amazing things, and it's a very strategic, amazing location, especially when the Gulf of Suez would come into town, and it's right on the coast of India, right near a major city. It's surrounded on both sides by water. It's kind of like a peninsula. It is a perfect spot for a end/beginning of a train station and also of just a major transportation hub, but not necessarily of just the 1800s. This would be a strategic spot all over. And look at the curve of that coastline. That curve of that coastline is absolutely ridiculously perfect, to the point where I'd be willing to believe this entire thing again was constructed by an ancient civilization. And when we're in India and time goes back extremely far, you can bet it was. And this whole area is absolutely astounding, this terminus area. And again, keep in mind, in the train stations, the populations at this time would not have needed such a massive train station, as far as we're told. But right across the street, too, another massive building, amazingly ancient, teched out to the nines. Look at the different distance in the background. You can see that glass almost looks like a crystal palace in the distance towards the left of that building. So this is amazingly something ridiculous. And to even build this in 10 years, I think, is quite a feat. And there's not one construction photo, but yet there's photos of the victorious rule and a lot of different photos from this time period, but not one during this 10 years of construction. And the only things that you see are just scaffolding on different things, but they barely even have those. This building is massive. This is pretty nice, though. When they started digging, look at underground, you can already see that this place goes way below just by the shape of some of those stones there. And I wonder what they found during that time when they were digging, because there is a guarantee that this goes lower and lower and lower. And again, I think this whole place at one point was carved out and built, architected. That entire peninsula may have been constructed at some point by some civilization that we can't even fathom. And that was the Victoria family right there, which they named this after originally. So the terminus, which means where the trains would end and begin, basically. So there's some stereoscopic pictures. If you cross your eyes, I don't know if many people can do this, but I love doing it. If you stare at these and you cross your eyes, you form 3 pictures and you focus in on the one in the middle. Pretty soon it will become crystal clear and it will be in 3D. You'll be able to see the depth that was intended by these photographs. You don't need a specific lens. Your eyes can do it all. But keep in mind, look at all the horse and buggies and the barely amounts of people here. And you can see as the ground kind of changes throughout time, the trees start to grow. There's some pictures when it's all wiped out and washed out, when it was founded again. Look at these people. Look at these primitive people. And even for Britain to build here and to carry all the materials here, I guess, they have the boats and they have the sea, and that could be kind of done because it's pretty close to the harbor. But again, there'd be pictures, there'd be stories, there'd be so much more. How many people could you employ in the making of this, and how many people would you need for a ton of this? You would need craftsmen all over the place. And keep in mind, the 1870s, 1850s, this whole zone where these massive buildings were being built in America, in India, in England, in everywhere. Where do you get the massive construction teams to do hundreds and potentially thousands of massively elaborate buildings that we still can't make today? How do you get the time to do that in the 1800s when they had horse and buggies and don't tell you about any of the electricity and power that they had? So again, these are some of the rooms, and they look pretty fresh here in the 1930s. So I'm not sure if those were new as the trains would maybe come in and start to get more prominent around this time, which I do believe would have happened. But in the 1870s, again, I'm not buying it. Maybe there's something I'm missing, but I'm just not buying it. Again, I would think they would put construction photos like crazy out here. And this is them kind of just doing the statue and touching the statue up. that looks like a super ancient statue. It doesn't look like it's 100 years old. It looks like it's way older than that. And they touched it up, make it nice and shiny, which shows that they can do that to anything. If they can do it to a statue, they can do it to the entire building. And here are some glimpses of the inside. Super strong, mega massive. Some of the sculptures on the inside, outside, which again lost their color, lost their metal. I'm willing to believe those tile patterns looked somewhat like they do in Iran and places like that. Very colorful, very elaborate, not just dry stone. This is what it looks like when you whitewash or you stone sandblast things to dust. And some of those sculptures don't look like they're of the same quality as the rest of the building and some of the other sculptures. So they could easily implant those in there, fake the history, change the words, sandblast things down, carve something else into it, very easily take off the color, take off the paint, and you lose the magic. And this is what it looks like inside in one of those areas. You can see in the overhead views, it's a pretty big area. And it is a super impressive zone. And they weren't just apparently building this in the 10 years. They were building a bunch of things like this right across the street from it, this other massive building, which I guess is part of the same thing. Again, you need more administrative buildings for a train station or something. Nowadays we don't really have those. But look at, in all this whole area, look at these different things. The police, commission of police, which is an amazingly old building. This building right here, right on the same block, massively old and incredibly elaborate. And again, 1800, same, what are they going to give us the same year? Oh, the architect, there was a contest. Look at this one too. St. Xavier's College. Another one. So this area was massive. And India, again, the same architecture all over the world. The same beautiful, amazingly uniform architecture that must have been from some uniform company that did all of this. All over the place at one point in time, completely lost. Their name is lost. I wouldn't be surprised if their name was like the Victorian Company or something. There's just so many lies and repurposes of everything. And again, I don't know the secrets. I don't know the truth. I just wanted to bring it up to you all and see what you all thought, because it's one of those things. And every time I see one of these buildings, you have to I want to bring them up to see what you all think and just, again, call the bluff on it. And if someone's got a picture of construction and they can show it, then I'd love to see it. But I don't think you're going to find it. And look at that one right here. The very last one I'll show today. We'll close on this one and look at the grounds around it. The mud flood zone, everything cleared out as if it is brand new, kind of. At least they're trying to give the impression that it's brand new, but it's still very old in every aspect of it, and it does not look newly constructed at all. It looks like it was founded, touched up, and repurposed entirely from something we can't even fathom. So it's basically just, why would they make all that elaborate tech at the top for a train station? If it had no point, why? If you could make a telegram wire or a pole that's just like one beam, which comes out of other things like an antenna, why would you do all this elaborate stuff? Why would you waste the money for a train station, for a post office, for a state capitol? None of them are necessary. They are not telling us anything. There is a huge secret amongst all of this, and I hope to God one day we discover it all, because we need to. We need to find out our place. We need to find out who built these, and we need to honor them, respect them, and rewrite history big time. So if you have any insight, go below. If you've ever been to this place, let me know. Share in the comments, and if you just want to get it out there, share it with others. I recommend that. It's the only way to beat the shadow ban. So thank you so much for checking this out from artofdino.com and saveearth.us.